The Miami Heat make absolutely zero sense. They don't even make a penny of sense, okay? Like, what I mean by this, just look at the rest of the teams in the playoffs, okay? Every other team, them being here makes sense. The other two that are currently, look at the Denver Nuggets, the first team in the NBA Finals. They make sense to be there. They were the number one seed coming into the playoffs through the Western Conference. They had, I think, the best record in the NBA. No, they didn't. They had one of the best records in the NBA, though. And, I mean, they have debatably the best player in basketball in Nikola Jokic. I mean, look at this guy. He's him, okay? He may be the big triple-double. He has at least a 10-inch cock. And then you have Jamal Murray, who we know has a 10-inch cock from prior video history. Don't question it, don't look it up. And he's also dating this fine specimen. Okay, so obviously we know why he's dropping 30 a night. And then they just have a good team. So we know why the Denver Nuggets are here. They make complete sense. And then the team, they're currently up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics, which doesn't make any sense. I'll be getting that a little bit later. The Boston Celtics, they make sense to be here. I mean, they have Jason Tatum, one of the best players in the NBA. He made All-NBA team last year. I mean, this year. He's a beast, an absolute animal. Plus, he's light-skinned. He's basically perfect. And then you also have Jaylen Brown, debatably the best shooting guard in the NBA. That makes total sense. They have a superstar duo of young guys that are very hungry to win. So they make sense to be there. And on top of that, they just have the best-built team in really almost NBA history. I mean, they have a crazily built team. Like, they are the summer ray of basketball teams. They're just built absolutely perfectly. You have the former sixth man of the year from last year in Markavius Smart. I don't know if he's actually smart, but that is his name, and he is very good on defense and plays very hard. And then you also have this year's sixth man of the year, Malcolm Brogdon. Okay, he's very good as well, an absolute bucket. He would start for your favorite NBA team, including mine. So having him off your bench is insane. Then you also have guys like Derek White, and then the whole bunch of white guys like Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard, and then Al Horford, Robert Williams, all these other people, and they make total sense to be here. But of course, since it's the NBA and it makes zero sense this year, they're losing 3-2 to the Miami Heat, which makes, like I said earlier, absolutely zero sense. It makes about as much sense as people saying JFK wasn't assassinated by the FBI, okay? Like, it literally just doesn't add up. The Miami Heat are led by a guy named Jimmy. That should tell you enough. Their best player's name is Jimmy. Jimmy Butler Buckets, to be exact. And if you don't know who he is, well, look up Michael Jordan in the playoffs, and that's Jimmy Butler when he's in the playoffs, okay? And then their second best player is a fucking automatopoeia named Bam Adebayo. He is literally an automatopoeia. Automatopoeia Adebayo, okay? Just an absolute weirdo. And he is their second best player. Now, he is very good as well. One of the best defensive centers. One of the best centers in general in the NBA. But then after that, they have two people with half their foot in the grave in Kyle Lowry and Kevin Love. I mean, how they're in the league anymore, I don't know. Kevin Love hasn't been relevant since he was on LeBron's backpack, and Kyle Lowry hasn't been relevant since he was getting spanked by LeBron, okay? Like, they're both okay players, but nowhere near good enough to being as big of a contributor on a team one win away from a championship, at least making a championship berth. Is. And then after that, their best players are all undrafted free agents, and two of their main undrafted free agents that give them the most productivity, they have a guy named Max Strus, not to be confused with Max and Ruby. Max Strus, I mean, he's one of the clutchest three-point shooters of all time, apparently. He can't be stopped. And then also, of course, we have Gabe over here, Gabe Vincent, another absolute beast out of nowhere, undrafted free agent that nobody knows, but you know what we do know, that he is going to hit an absolute bucket if you leave him open. And they're doing all this, by the way, with Victor Oladipo being injured and Tyler Hero being injured, two extremely productive players, Tyler Hero also being a former sixth man of the year. So that shows you they're missing a lot of talent, and yet they are still here being led by a guy named Jimmy and a guy with an onomatopoeia as his name, with a whole bunch of absolute nobodies and undrafted free agents. And that is the team that is about to knock off this unbelievable super team in the Jason Tatum-led Boston Celtics. It makes absolutely zero sense. And just to add a cherry on top of this no-sense shortcake we have going on over here, you have Caleb Martin, who is an extremely big contributor to their team, the way more successful twin. He started in Charlotte. He got cut from Charlotte from Charlotte. If you get cut from Charlotte, you know how bad you have to be. But the second he comes to Miami, don't worry, Pat Riley sprinkled a little pixie dust on him, and now out of nowhere, he's one of the most contributing guys off the bench left in the playoffs. And then you have the widest guy in NBA history in Duncan Robinson, dropping 28 points, blowing by defenders, by the way, which is insane to me. He literally is dribbling past some guys. How is this guy dribbling past you? Anyway, Duncan Robinson is just absolutely dominating. Not dominating, but he's had games where he's been extremely impactful this year. So not only is he extremely overpaid, but he's also actually living up to the contract now, which out of nowhere also makes no sense because he barely even played most of the games this year during the regular season. But now, of course, we're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and now he's God out of nowhere. So, I mean, the Miami Heat make no sense. And I know it probably doesn't sound like it, but they're my favorite team left in the playoffs, okay? So I'm all for it, but I know it's 3-2, and it's getting a little sketchy, okay? Hopefully the Miami Heat don't choke a 3-0 lead. They might be doing it, honestly. I think they're having to go back to Boston. No, they're having to go back to Miami now. So hopefully they can close it out in Game 6. But if they don't, that's going to get very sketchy. And then that's going to make even zero more sense if they do choke this 3-0 lead due to how they're built. But still, whatever. This NBA playoffs have made no sense. Things are happening that shouldn't happen. Somehow a 90-year-old LeBron got to the Western Conference Finals after they were awful, and then D'Angelo Russell disappeared. That's for a whole different video. I just wanted to talk about how little sense the Miami Heat really made. The only thing that makes sense is the fact that this rookie, this baby of a coach that they have going on right now, has to go against one of the best coaches in the NBA and maybe NBA history in Eric Spoelstra, and one of literally, not even debatably, one of the best coaches in NBA history in Pat Riley. And now I know Pat Riley's not a coach, but I'm sure he still has some input on game plans, and him and Spoelstra talk. So, I mean, that's very hard to go against as a rookie coach. So that's the only thing that makes sense about this series. But of course, like I said, no telling who's going to win at this point. Now it's 3-2. It can go either way. I still think Miami's going to win it, but I just think overall they make zero sense, and I kind of just wanted to rant on them. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's going to be it. So I hope you liked the video. I hope you have a blessed day. Can I have a blessed day? So you have a blessed day. I'll go to God. See you next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.